Joining us now are Canadian mompreneurs and authors Megan Hadwin and Nikki Sinjarek, the women behind the Other Life Lessons children's book series. They're picture books, and they're gorgeous, and they deliver powerful and honest messages while addressing some difficult themes: entitlement, grief, and why mommy works. Welcome, both of you, to the show. Now, this one, let's start here, because why mommy works. It's such a great topic. How did you pick topics?
Well, they're pretty anecdotal. They're based on sort of real life events that we went through while we were raising our 4-year-olds together. We had babies pretty much 6 weeks apart. And the Why Mommy Works came from mom guilt. So we wanted to sort of have a voice for women that all of them feel when they have to leave and go back to work. So it was really written with, the intent of real life events. And it was really close to us.
But did you find when you went to look for something like that yourself that there wasn't anything?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why we ended up creating them, because when we ran into these issues, we just assumed that there were resources out there that were easy to find. And when we didn't find them, we were like, well, we have a kind of a production background. We could probably make these, and that's what we did.
Well, what is your background? You come from the advertising world?
We do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about how you morphed from one to the other.
Well, we met about 8 years ago at a Toronto advertising agency as a creative team. So she's the art director, I'm the writer. And we literally have been glued at the hip ever since. So in that time, we've done a lot of different things. We've worked in production, we've worked with printers. So that kind of gave us the background and the context to bring this to life. And yeah, we had our babies 6 weeks apart. And then on that maternity leave, we started talking more about how we wanted to raise them and things we wanted to teach them and how we wanted to be really honest with them. So when we couldn't find the books out there, we decided to create them.
You are, as you said, one of you is the illustrator, one of you writes. You're the poet, because there is poetry.
Oh, thank you.
And these subjects are things that are sometimes hard to explain. I mean, Sometimes someone dies. People are always struggling with their children, how to kind of explain that, or why life isn't fair,
and that's sort of our mission. It's creating tools, one of them being books, to get parents to start these honest conversations early and normalizing certain subjects at an early age, to have empathy and compassion and resilience at an early age.
Okay, but what about the people that would say, can't we just let kids be kids? Or how young do you want them to know the realities of life? Have you got any of that kind of feedback?
Quashing their innocence.
And for the most part, actually, parents love them. And it's exactly the lessons that they're trying to teach them. I think that we all want kids to be kids, but they don't necessarily need to be bubble wrapped. And life is going to happen anyways. There's going to be ups and downs. So if they can start having those conversations at home first about difficult topics, it just helps create that open dialogue with their parents to talk about all different things. So
what age would you say these are aimed at?
We say 3 to 7 because of subject matter. Things like grief, entitlement, working moms can go a little bit older. Mm-hmm. But Nikki has an 11-year-old at home, and she reads these books to him, and he likes them too. Like, they're books for kids, but they're good reminders for teenagers, for even adults. The book on entitlement really could be for anyone.
Yeah. I want to have a look at that one for sure.
Life's Not Fair.
Yeah. Life's Not Fair.
The book of entitlement.
Yeah.
So will you be coming up with other topics?
Yes.
As you sort of face those questions? Anything on the drawing board?
Well, we have 3 more that are coming out in the spring. We're just deciding which 3 now because we've had so much great feedback, and we are even working with psychologists now to tackle a little bit of bigger subjects as well. So there's 3 more coming out in the spring, and we're going to announce it on our social media in January.
In January? Oh, you're not? Just tell us with the girls.
They're in advertising and marketing. They're not giving away anything. They know how to build up the anticipation, right?
Well, some of the subjects we're kind of thinking about and are postpartum depression, which is a big one that both Megan and I went through. There's also this thing, the internet.
To talk about postpartum depression for children when the mom has maybe had another child and how it works with the family.
Ah,
okay. All right. And you said, I'm sorry.
The internet?
So the
internet, a big one.
This is, our life has changed dramatically in the last 10 years, and children are a byproduct. They are going to be on the internet regardless. So we're looking at books about, or looking at a book about that sort of topic of how to balance the internet and real life. And there's like blended families.
Can you write that for us?
Blended families, that's a really good one.
So that's a big one. We've had a lot of feedback at our trade shows, constantly people asking about the blended families, because families are all different now.
And also divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what, it's really hard, Well, we love you, but we don't love one another, but we're still going to get along.
That's hard.
And it's hard to, it's hard to.
That topic can affect children of all ages, right up to young.
I think
young
divorce
adults.
and blended are somewhat different, but still,
So we're kind of, contemplating. We've got a few, so it's just a matter of deciding which ones are going to come out.
Now, there's a donation component to the books. Tell us about that.
Well, for every book purchased online or at one of our events, we donate $1 to children's mental health charities in Canada. We just wanted the books to be more than just books. We thought they could have a great impact, and especially when we're talking about things like grief or entitlement, things like that, that seemed like a natural fit for us.
And what is the
I
site?
like this.
We should tell people what the site is.
So our site is otherlifelessons.com.
Okay.
But we also have some free downloadables that you could download as a PDF. They're like worksheets that are affiliated with the books. And then our blog is there also.
So what have you learned through this? Because I know that you have your own skill set, but now you're parents.
Yeah.
And you're talking to psychologists and you're talking to other parents.
Originally, these books started as just for us and for our children, and what we realized is that so many people were facing the same things or having the same issues as us, and they didn't know how to talk about it. Sometimes even therapists or teachers didn't have the words to talk about these things. So it's nice to meet people who immediately they see like our booth or they see our books and they're like, oh my gosh, they get it right away. They love it, and they get that it's a concept. They understand what the approach is, and they're really appreciative. So I think we've learned that we're not alone.
And one of the things I said maybe want to explore is I learned with my children, never answer a question that they've asked until you fully understand why they're asking that question, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be there are some wonderful stories that I probably can't go into the air about things that they asked me, and I was like, why do you want to know? And I'm so glad that I asked that, because the little minds, they work in a completely different way than we do. So how do your children react to these?
Well, they've read them so many times now that they love them. And they have their phases that they go through where they love one more than other. Like where they had the Terry Fox run at school. So my daughter is 4 and she was learning about Terry Fox for the first time. So we were reading Sometimes Someone Dies quite a bit.
Right.
So we usually bring them out when a subject comes up, or just to, we pick one for a week or one for a month to kind of deep dive into.
Well, it's exciting that the other ones are coming out soon, and I don't know. I just don't think you two are going to leave it there. I can see a whole lot more coming out.
It's not just books, that's for sure.
You're answering the questions honestly, and I think that's so important, because kids they believe adults, and we need to be consistent in our messaging, don't we?
Yeah,
For sure, and they believe. They believe adults and they believe their parents, but when they actually see it in a book also, it kind of makes it more legit. Or if you see something on TV, well, it has to be real when it's like actually produced. So we feel that helps that they're in books. It's like, if it's in a book, then it must be true, right? So it adds sort of to our case.
All right. Well,
wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming in and tell us. And say the website one more time.
Otherlifelessons.com.
She